Nature Boy! You think March 30th, 2008 was the last day that Ric Flair was capable of dying? No! Thank God! Retired, it's you and me! Woo! 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 Recognize this? Yeah! Huh? Woo! 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 Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Woo! 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 Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Woo! 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 Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Woo! 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 Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Hulk Hogan! Woo!
Oh yeah, that's right. Welcome to the first edition of Actually Ashley and Shades of the Shooter. I'm Ashley Trill LaCroix, otherwise known as ATL. I'm alongside my co-host. I'll let him introduce himself.
I am the protector of professional wrestling, Jack Gallow.
So what we're going to do here on this podcast, if you will, is we're just going to basically be ourselves. We're going to be ourselves. We're going to talk about some of the journeys that we've had in our time in professional wrestling, and you know, we got a lot of funny stories, trust me, and we don't really have a run sheet or a format of what we're doing.
I have
we're
no idea what the hell we're going to do right now.
Yeah, we're basically just going to run with this and see what happens, and hopefully people find it interesting enough to want to check out a second edition. At the moment, we're just considering doing this like once a month, but you know, that could change depending on what happens. Both of us are professional wrestlers on the independent scene in the Northeast region, mainly out of New York, New Jersey, occasionally outside of Pennsylvania, things like that. Both of us were trained at NYWC. That seems like a good spot to start.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Start there. Yeah, sure.
All right, so yeah, you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'll get into it. Well, basically, like with me. One thing I want to say before we start is I'm really pissed we don't get to hear our opening songs. That shit's so funny.
Oh, the Wupachi song?
Fucking Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Legend. Woo! Hulk Hogan. Anyway, all right, back to real life. Yeah. So I mean, you remember, I did a little training before I went to NYWC, but like I like to tell everybody, I got my primary training there. And one thing I'd say, like, it really it is as good as people say it is. It really is a fantastic school to go to. I couldn't really put it over more.
And for those of you interested, NYWC is the New York Wrestling Connection.
Wrestling Connection, yeah. And honestly, like, it's just really diverse there. That's what's really cool. Because, like, you know, you go in there, and at the time when we started, we had Crusher Dugan, who I stay close with till today, who, you know, he trained at the Malenko School, and he actually helped train there for a while, so he really has serious credentials. And me being the shooter that I am, really helped me out a lot because he kind of got to teach me how to use all my shoot stuff in professional wrestling. But like I was saying before, you also got guys there as opposed to just the trainers. You got guys like Papa Don and Alex Reynolds and Maverick. And I'd say, you know, all three of them, I think you'd agree with me. They were just always very hands-on and really wanted to help out.
Absolutely. No, I liked Alex was cool.
Yeah.
Alex was really cool. And I'm glad because now he's doing that. What is it? World Wrestling,
the new
Revolution Project or whatever. Yeah, and that hopefully will be a good opportunity for him. Alex was always cool, always cool. Alex. And
he really deserves it all. He does.
Yeah, no, he's an outstanding performer. Really, a one of a kind talent.
Yeah.
He was cool. Scyther was
a fucking man.
Funny.
Scyther was funny as shit.
Yeah, Scyther was funny. The car rides. Just a couple of times that I was in the car with him.
He would this is the thing about Scyther, why he's so cool, is like he had all his boys he's so cool with, and then out of nowhere he'd be like, "Hey guys, where you going?" I'd be like, "I don't know, 7-Eleven." I'm fucking hopping in with you. Like, all right,
yeah, he was cool with that.
Yeah.
Papa Don, he was cool.
Papa Don, that's one guy, man. I heard a lot of stories. People used to talk about how, like, oh, Jimmy's a dick, and, you know, a lot of people, like, got rubbed the wrong way by him. But honestly, that's the one guy I can say straight up I had absolutely no problem with. In fact, he went out of his way to help me more than just about everybody else there, and he had no reason to. He just did it because he wanted to help out and he wanted to see me get better. So Papa Don's a cool motherfucker.
Yeah, no, Papa Don was cool. I'm not gonna lie. He intimidated me when I was there. I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah,
like,
well when you first start, you
Yeah.
see somebody like him.
I was totally intimidated,
Yeah.
and then I had gone up to him, and I'm like, "Oh man, I don't know if I should be asking the guy." Like, 'cause
Yeah.
when you first start out, like, you don't really know. Like, should you
ask?
go ahead and ask somebody, or
Should you wait for them to say something to you?
Yeah.
Should you,
So I was just like, "Fuck it, let me just go ask Papa Don his opinion." It was I can't remember the question. It was something about like, if the heel's calling the match or something like that, and most of the times, when they're at equal level, but say you're green, you're coming in as a baby face, or you're coming in as a baby face
Yeah.
heel. I was like, what do you do then? Like the baby face, I'm assuming has to call it, but like,
Yeah.
how do you get your shit in? Like,
yeah.
what do you
How do you work the
how do you
match?
approach it?
Yeah.
And he was just like, nah, you just be straight up with the guy.
Yeah.
He was like, just be straight up with the guy, tell him blah blah blah, and like, I had worked plenty of guys before NYWC
Yeah,
or
we
whatever,
both did, yeah.
and but they were all of like the same level.
Yeah.
So
we never been at a point where we
Yeah.
wrestle somebody that's been wrestling for so many more years than we
Yeah.
have.
And it was, especially at NYWC, because NYWC is really high on that pecking order.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
these are the guys that are, clearly,
These are the
been
guys who
here.
main event. These are
Yeah.
the guys who have earned their stripes, and here's the students. And that's one thing about NYWC that maybe wasn't as good, is it was very, very, these guys are here, and it kind of stays that way for some time. The one luck I had is a lot of people knew that I was really close with Javier, and he helped me out before I went to NYWC, and he basically started me out in wrestling. So I kind of got, I wouldn't say special treatment, but people kind of knew that I took this seriously to start with. But still, like, there was such a clear distinction between these are the main guys, here are the students, that sometimes I kind of guessed there was some friction there.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, everyone gets a chance to work their way up there, which is cool.
No,
Everyone has, Johnny
No,
Silver being a great example.
Their order,
Yeah.
however you want to view it, totem pole, whatever,
Mhm.
it clearly works.
Yeah, it does work.
And that system has produced guys like Zack Ryder
And
and
Kurt
whatnot. Yeah.
Hawkins and
So
fucking-
clearly it works. They're onto something.
yeah, they're doing something right.
Either that or something's in the water on Long Island, which is where we're from,
Yeah,
and that's just like a
yeah,
wrestling
where all the
hotbed.
hotbed of talent
Yeah.
comes from.
So, which would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, Foley's from Long Island. So,
Yeah, so I mean, I
uh,
can't say enough good things though. I mean, like I said, I think the biggest problem they had, and I think it also was with that distinction of students and main event, is Shane, although he's a cool guy, it's really hard to get his attention and get him to pay attention to you like one on one.
yeah, you gotta do something pretty outrageous.
Yeah,
to
you
get
have
his
to
attention.
really like force
Yeah.
yourself into his line of view, and everyone tells you that as soon
Yeah.
as they start. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Shane's gonna give you the Shane face." That's when you tell him something. He goes,
That
all right."
that, or you'd have to do something outrageous, but in most cases, like Justin, it would be something bad outrageous.
Yeah, bad outrageous, and then he just fucking doesn't like you, or he's
Yeah.
pissed off at you.
So, but that's all cool. Trying to think, So I mean, from NYWC, we both left around the same time.
Yeah.
I left a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I kind of whatever, and we moved on. And then what was it? MVW. I worked MVW first.
Yeah, you worked MVW first.
Now I remember because Tony Fatu, guy who runs MVW, hit me up one day. He's like, "Oh, one of the guys backed out of the match. I need a favor. Would you be able to, come to Jersey? Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Work this match with me." And I was just like, "Hey, fuck it." And the one thing I did say to Tony was like, "Just, I'm gonna come with my friend Ricky.
Yeah.
And,
He's like, put him on.
Get him a match." And Tony, to his word,
That
got him
little
a match.
prick
You know what I'm
Ricky.
saying? And
Yeah.
then
We're gonna bash that motherfucker a lot on
and
the
then,
show.
to Tony's credit though, he's kept booking Ricky.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I'm
Ricky's
saying?
good, even though he's a little shit. He's good.
Yeah, Ricky is.
Ricky
This
Stevens.
we're talking about. Well, he doesn't run with that anymore.
Oh, I'm sorry,
That's
Ricky
the thing,
Richards.
because he was Ricky Stevens, but then NBW
Then
had
had
Hatch
Hatch
Stevens, so that was like this big no. You can't have two guys the same, because God forbid somebody has the same last surname.
Yeah.
Because everybody forgets D.H. Smith was the only person who had the last
His
name
name's
Smith in the
yeah,
world.
what the fuck? Should have just.
But yeah, I mean, it couldn't work that well, for Ricky, because Ricky Rich is just such a more annoying kind of name
Yeah.
to possess. Like,
So I have to keep remembering that, and even though I've known him forever, I can't remember.
and he's just like, Ricky is like, especially with the gimmick that he's kind of starting to morph into now. It's like, here's
You
this
just wanna
kid
smack him.
who's just average looking, average in every way.
I mean,
and I love Ricky to death. Like,
He's
he's
just
fucking
average
cool as shit,
motherfucker.
and he's funny. When we do the car rides into Jersey,
Yeah.
like he's
And he
like-
talks like this.
yeah, he's funny. He's got that nasally voice, yeah. But he's cool as shit, and he's like one of those guys that I would honestly say in wrestling, like he's actually a friend.
Yeah, he's cool.
Yeah.
I really like Ricky.
But he's this average looking guy, and it's just so funny because it's like, he's morphed into this gimmick now, and it's like, like this average guy, and he's almost becoming like this celebrity within his own mind.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he's so average. He's not looking to the mirror. It's like
always gets lucky.
yeah. It works out really well for Ricky.
Because it's one of those people, like, he's so average and he does things that aren't even, like, good. Like, he does things that he proclaims to be amazing when they're just average things, like doing a snapmare, and he cheers for himself. And it's just like, it's so easy to hate this son of a bitch because he has nothing good behind him. Like, I don't know if everyone remembers The Rock from '03. Like, when he was a heel, The Rock would, like, do something big, and then he'd sit up and clap for himself. But it's like, even though you hate him, it's like, okay, it's The Rock. He has a reason to be happy for himself. He's a Hollywood superstar.
No, I agree.
And then you have Ricky, and he's just this fucking asshole who really shouldn't fucking be happy about anything, yet he just cheers for himself, and you want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Fuck isn't relevant right now. What is relevant is...
So in case anybody hears, like, you hear me munching or anything like that, I'm actually eating Chinese food. It's the first thing I've had to eat all day.
I'm hungry.
And it's delicious. And I can't take Gallow to the Chinese food place because all he wants to do is make fun of their accents, which is like totally racist in its own right. But like,
it's like WWF Warzone every time you go into the kitchen.
Wow.
You should have seen it. It was bad today. They're like, would you like to get that food? And then there's like this weird shit they have on the menu. What was it like? It was like some gum chicken.
Yeah, you can't forget the poo poo platter. That's a classic.
That's always gonna be there. But like, they had some really wild shit. They had like Fun.
Hogan Fun.
Hogan Fun, brother.
Hogan Fun. So one of the things we're going to try to do as we go along with these podcasts are we're going to eventually try to bring on, like, special guests each version of the podcast. We figured we'd just keep it with us, being that this is the first one. But we got some colorful characters that we're
we have some people we can fucking bring on this show.
Yeah, that I think will hopefully entertain you. Alright, we gotta do it. I know, because you've been waiting this entire time that you want to do it. Let's talk about money.
Money!
Okay, so we gotta give a backstory, because a lot of people here aren't gonna understand who, like, money is.
You don't even want to, but we're gonna tell you.
So, and we're not gonna use his real name, because we don't want to get, like, sued or anything like that.
If anyone knows where he lives, though, please tell me.
Yeah, if you know where he lives, we will put his address on,
if you just know where he is, just tell me. Call me. Like, find me on Facebook and tell me where this man is.
Okay, so let's give a backstory on money. Me and Gallow are wrestling in XWA at the time, and this guy Money comes into the fold, and he's like, let me wrestle, blah 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 blah, and whatever. He gets booked, and he starts working or whatever. And he is like
the ugliest fucking thing you've ever seen.
Well, I wasn't even gonna go there just yet. I was gonna say he's just a shit wrestler. Like this guy is the shits. Yeah. Like completely like. Wow, No,
like, he's like a fuck.
Like you couldn't shit can him out of the ring fast enough. Like it's just.
Well, he smelled like it, so you wanted to.
That too, and all right. So I'll let Gallo describe him to you now.
All right,
like his personal.
If anyone ever seen Watto from Star Wars, that's like it's like a cross between Watto, John Lovitz, and like a. I'm trying to think of the best way to fucking put it. The Watto, John Lovitz, and a fucking possum. That is money described, okay? This guy has, like, his hair, right? He has, like, a normal haircut, but his hairline comes down to his forehead, so he chops it off. Meanwhile, you can clearly see, like, the stubble growing in, so you just think that maybe he got, like, hit in the head or something. There's something fucking wrong with him. On top of that, he has like a double chin that looks like a tarp that has too much water on it, so it just completely drags down. And he's one of those assholes that keeps the goatee, so you can clearly see the distinction between like his chin and his double chin. Okay, and then this is the type of guy also, by the way, when he goes out, he wears a singlet under his clothes to try to conceal his fat because he's so flubbery and wobbly that it goes all over the place where he wears a normal shirt. But everybody notices the fucking singlet because you can clearly see how it like forms on his shirt. So he's always wearing a singlet under his shirt. He has a tattoo of a money sign on his arm that just looks like shit. And he did it because he calls himself the Money. But the reason why people called him the Money is because in high school they used to take his fucking lunch money, which is a true story.
He was essentially a high school money mark. For people's PS2s at the time, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. And everyone used to take it, and he gladly gave it to him and proclaimed himself the Money. What else is there about Money? He smells like taco meat when he sweats. He hasn't had sex ever, and he's almost 30 years old.
He might be 30 now.
I was 15, and I had sex more times than he did. Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, he. All right, but get used to Money though, because he's gonna be a recurring
he's gonna be all
character.
the time.
Like, I will not be surprised if Money gets at least referenced.
Did I
once or
mention he never
twice.
had sex?